What's going on, guys, and welcome to Highly and Alph Gaming. I'm your host, Alph, and Super Mario Maker 2 has finally arrived. If you've been following my channel at all recently, you know I was super excited for this game, and I've been having a blast with it. There are tons of cool new features and stuff, a bunch of which we'll talk about in a couple minutes. For now though, let's cut right to the chase. Today I'm reviewing Super Mario Maker 2. One thing to note before we get started, it will be helpful to have at least some knowledge of the original Mario Maker before watching this, as I'll compare the two quite a bit. Now that that's covered, grab your hard hats and your awkward hammer power-ups, folks, cause it's reviewing time. The first impression of any game is its presentation, and I think it's safe to say that Super Mario Maker 2 looks really nice. The menus and levels are all very bright and pleasant, especially with some of the new level styles that were added this time around. Even the darker environments find ways to feel alive and colorful, which is exactly what I've come to expect from Mario. Mario games always look great, have looked great, and probably always will look great, so I won't dwell too long on that. These visuals are all things we've seen before, after all. The music in this game is also superb, with most soundtracks returning from the original Mario Maker. The menu music is mostly just the old menu music with slight remixes here and there, but I think that's a good thing. The music we have here is all very fitting and easy on the ears, so making new tracks would be an attempt at solving a problem that doesn't exist. All the returning Mario songs within the levels are great as well, and the few new inclusions we have to this soundtrack, like the Super Mario Bros. 1 desert theme, are very fitting and catchy. Both the visuals and sounds of Mario Maker 2 are excellent in pretty much every way, as they are in just about every Mario game, so I'll stop talking about them now. The gameplay is what's more interesting to me, and there's also way more to talk about in this department. For now, let's start with the controls. Obviously, the in-level controls are fantastic and identical to the controls in real Mario games, but what about the level creation controls? You can't always have a touchscreen with the Switch, and I don't imagine transferring such a perfect control setup to a controller was an easy task for the developers. Touch controls were perfect for making Mario levels, so can using a controller possibly be as good? The short answer, no, not really. Rather than using gyro aiming as a control option, you move the cursor and place items on the screen with the left joystick. To navigate to other parts or features like auto-scrolling or the time limit, you use the D-pad to shift focus to the menu going around the border, where you can then select all the other features. There are button shortcuts to things like erasing and the undo tool, but D-padding over to things is pretty much how you'll navigate the menus and stuff. As a necessary alternative to the touchscreen, this is fine. Nothing will ever be quite as intuitive as instantly having the cursor wherever you want it just by using your finger, but the system works. It takes quite a bit of getting used to. In fact, I still fumble around with it on occasion, but it's fine, I guess. It's as good as I could have hoped for in terms of a controller-based level creation system, unless there was a good way to implement gyro pointing. So that's how you use the level creation options in Mario Maker 2, but what exactly are those options? As expected, just about everything from Super Mario Maker on the Wii U appears in this game. All the level themes, all the Mario game themes to choose from, all the blocks and power-ups except the amiibo suit, it's really all here, as you'd expect. Fortunately for us, Nintendo certainly didn't cheap out on the new stuff either. To be honest, we only got a small handful of new power-ups, but where the old boys really deliver this time around is the blocks. Switch block, snake block, claw, icicle, twister, seesaw, and so many more. All of these add compelling, unique mechanics to the game. Some things almost change up how the game works too much. Like, as much as I love the new on-off switch blocks, does every single level under the popular levels category have to be an on-off switch-based speedrunning level? I mean, I know they're cool and stuff, but really? I can't really fault the game for that though, and I still love the switch blocks. They're useful in so many situations. Another new feature that changes up the game quite a bit is the Angry Sun, which I thought was surprising and a very creative addition. As an enemy, it's nothing to get your pants in a twist over, but when transformed into the not-so-angry moon, that's when things get interesting. The moon will change any course theme into a nighttime variant of itself, and this always presents new hazards. Ghost houses become dark at night, deserts become windy at night, snowy places become slippery at night, that kind of thing. I haven't seen the day or night feature used all that well yet, but I have a feeling it could lead to some pretty crazy stuff. Speaking of snow and deserts, we have some new level themes in Mario Maker 2. They don't really change much for the most part, but you can adjust the water level and jungle stages, which I think is pretty neat. I went over what I thought it could be used for in my trailer analysis a little bit if you want to check it out. Perhaps the biggest new addition to Super Mario Maker 2 is the Super Mario 3D World level theme. It's still just 2D levels, but it has so many unique blocks and enemies that the 3D World option is off all by itself in its own category. I think it's likely we'll get more unique Mario themes like 3D World in the future, but for now it's just cool to have something different. There are tons upon tons upon tons of new level features in Super Mario Maker 2, but I don't want this video to be super long. Just know that there are some insanely creative and fun features to work with here, and in my opinion, these make the game worth it all by themselves. I'm in the minority though, because it seems to me like most people are in it to play other people's levels, and this game isn't lacking in the play department either. Just like in the first game, you can browse popular and trending courses, which I always find fun to do when I'm bored. It's fun to just hop in and play some levels that you know will be good, so I hope this feature stays present in the future Mario Maker games. One complaint I have about the hot courses though is that they don't make much sense to me in terms of what gets put in. Like, I'll see the top course in there have 2 plays or something, then I'm like, well, of course this is gonna get hot, it's at the top of your hot list. I don't really get it. A new feature is that you can also browse courses by certain tags, like you just search for speedrunning levels or just puzzle levels. You can also rate any level you play with either a boo or an I like it, which I appreciate. It's a form of quality control, and while I don't think it probably has a huge bearing on how often levels get recommended in the future, it's a nice feature. Don't care about what levels you play at all beyond difficulty? Then you can play Endless Mode, which is basically Mario Maker 2's version of the 100 Mario Challenge. You go through a series of user-created levels, except now they have no end and you just see how long you can make it. This mode is tons of fun, and it's in some ways better than 100 Mario Challenge because now you can have leaderboards of who made it through the most levels. User-created levels aren't your style either? Well, Nintendo created their own series of over 100 unique levels in the form of story mode. The story itself is almost non-existent from what I've seen so far, but I don't want much in this department anyway. Basically, you're just collecting coins in Nintendo's levels to raise funds for the reconstruction of Peach's castle. This is really fun, and it's nice to have an official campaign of levels to play through, some of them in any order you want. I said I thought a story mode would be cool in one of my older Mario Maker videos, and I agree with my past self. This is pretty cool. I've hardly played through any of it, so maybe it gets more complicated the farther you go, but I enjoyed what I've played so far. Okay, so up until now, everything in this review has been pretty positive. I hope I've made it clear that I really like this game so far, because the next little part of this review won't be so forgiving. I'm referring to, of course, the online play. Now, let me just say, it's not all bad here. Sometimes everything is completely fine with online multiplayer, but if you've ever played or seen more than like 30 seconds of Mario Maker 2 online, you know what its biggest, most glaring problem is. That lag. I'd say about 90% of my online experiences with Mario Maker 2 were so laggy they weren't really even fun. I know the occasional frame drop is inevitable in online play, but these games stutter and stop all the time, pretty much constantly in a good chunk of matches. It baffles me that Nintendo is able to get a complex 3D game like Splatoon 2 running online almost flawlessly with twice as many players, but they can't get a few simple 2D Mario levels running over the internet without having a lag fest. Everything runs perfectly all the time with single player, so I don't think the randomness of the levels themselves is causing the problem, but something is definitely wrong here. The online is obviously pretty terrible now, but I'm sure Nintendo will find some way to fix the lag, and once they do that, it'll be a pretty fun experience. Alrighty, that's the end of the negative stuff, and I think it's just about the end of the review too. This video was kinda short, but what did we learn? Overall, Super Mario Maker 2 is a fantastic game. It added tons of new mechanics, some new modes, and overall made everything sleeker and cooler than the first Mario Maker. The online isn't great, and the controls in docked mode could potentially use some tweaking, but the game is still very enjoyable. Don't make the mistake of thinking this game is a near identical port of the original either, because the somewhat small variety of new features drastically change how the game is really played. I think Super Mario Maker 2 is a great game, great enough for me to give it a 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching, everyone! This is the first review I've ever done for a new game, so remember to tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and have a great day!